So I never got a chance to actually nickname my PC or the main build. And what I think I'm going to name it is the Maker. And the reason being behind that name is because this is kind of where it all started. Once I built this, the channel has grown a lot faster. So I think, you know, since I do all my video editing on this, with the exception, I did have a Z170 chipset before this one, but this is where it's been my primary go-to, and it's been working great ever since. So it's going to be called the Maker. So let me know what you think about that name down in the comments down below. I'm just kind of curious. Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back. Planet Cryos here, and what I got for you today hopefully is a good video for you to sit down and watch. I want to replace all my fans here in the Maker. Now is what I'm calling this PC for all my video editing that I do currently until later in the future, where I upgrade it probably a 13th or a 14th gen Intel. That's later down the line. But what we're going to be replacing the SP fan, or the Corsair SP series fans with, is these Lian Li fans. And we're going to discuss this a little more, so stick around. All right, so yes, we're going to be replacing these fans. And the reason being is specifically the SP series fans for Corsair the RGB just isn't floating my boat anymore. All the RGBs are in the center of the fan, and they're supposed to you know, fuse out through the plastic and the fan blades and all that. But the problem is they have bleed over. So you can kind of see the other colors when red's on or when it's changing colors. And it's kind of difficult, at least with these, to get what I want and for it to flow kind of nice. So we're going to replace these now. The one on the She-Hulk build, those actually are pretty nice compared to the SP series. I think those are the QL series. So yeah, but we're going to replace them. I have, let's see, 7 fans, right? So I have 4 140 millimeter, and I have 3, which is 3 up front and 1 on the back. And then I have 3 120 millimeter fans that are on the RAD, or the radiator, or the AIO, all-in-one cooler. So those are going to get replaced. I do have an extra set because I have a push-pull method going on here. I'm probably going to remove those, and we're going to replace just the ones on the bottom on the inside and get rid of the ones up on top. And I want to go through a couple reasons why I won't keep the ones on a push-pull method. You know, it's kind of just personal choice mainly. So, but anyway, yes, we're going to go to these Lian Li, and these are the Unifan SL140. And the V2 stands for version 2. They made a version 1. This is version 2. The difference between them primarily is the connector. Oh my gosh, I can't say the connector that goes on each one. And these are in series connections, so you can actually hook one fan to the next, and they will lock in. And I'll demonstrate that in just a moment here. We'll take them out and look at them. But the other difference is these will, for the CFM, because I can't remember all the numbers, but the airflow, for the CFM airflow, these are 77.6. The ones that I currently have in there from Corsair are only 62 CFM. So it's actually an increase of 25% airflow going through at the same RPM, of course. Because these blades, the whole case is slightly thicker. It's not by much. I forget what it is, but the blades have a more of a slant to them, so they're actually pushing more air easier at a lower RPM than the Corsair. So, and you know, some of the other these are a fluid dynamic bearing. They run off a 12 volt. The LEDs are 5 volt. Fan speed is anywhere from 0 to 50. It's either off 250 RPM through 1600 RPM. These ones go from, of course, off, so 0. They go all the way up to, I don't know where they start at, but they only go up to like 1150. So these could potentially be noisier. They do have a dB of 29 versus I think 26 or 27 on the Corsair. Other than that, everything else is, I'll just show you quickly on the back of the box there. It's just kind of what I'm reading. I don't have another box for the other ones, but so I have 4 of these 140s. We have a package of 300, or 300. Oh my gosh, that'd be a big fan. 120 millimeter fans. They're the exact same, but there's just 3 of them. Let me just show you what comes in the box here. You get an extension cable. Actually, that's 2 extension cables right here. Yep. You get a small one. And from there on out, I don't think there's anything else in there. Nope. Maybe just a warranty thing. Nope. Got your screws. Don't forget your screws that I just dropped. All right. Comes with 4 screws. And then here's your fan. That's the bracket side. So those look pretty nice. So your RGB is not going to come from the center anymore. It's actually going to be right on these edges. So you have those, and it's both front and back. Now I do like the She-Hulk where you do get the center plus the outer ring. That looks actually pretty nice. But I've seen these online and I kind of like the way they look. Right here is where you're going to interconnect each fan, or you're going to hook up an extension cable and go from there. You need them both going like this, match up your ends like that. And I'm assuming, so there's a larger portion just like that right there, and then an open end up here. So you come up here kind of like that. And so this actually tells you, I don't know if we're gonna be able to see that. All right, you see these lines? That's your starting line right there on the second one, and that's where you need to end up. So when you push down on it, of course I'm trying to do this the wrong way. So that just moved quite a bit. You can see the line is already down there at the bottom now. So that's it. It's kind of hard to show. I guess I was a little close, but in order to remove them, just like that, put them together and like that. So from the inside, just go like that, then come to the outside to put them together. Sorry, I was over top of my mic. I am so sorry. I've only been a couple of videos with this mic, and sometimes it gets in its way. So that's how that would look. And then we'll put a third one on. So the cool thing about having all of these like this is you can have up to 4 fans in a row. Each fan does not need, you don't need a cable for each fan now. All the fans are linked together. It's going to operate off of 1 cable. Now, if you buy a single fan, like what we just took out 3 of these, you do not get the cable that's going to hook up to here. You have to have the controller with the cable, which comes in this. So as we open this, which I already had it open apparently, you're going to find in the top of this, you're going to have a bunch of other cables. You're going to have more extensions, more extension cables, and the most important cables are these. See the ones with the big flat? And you got the lock unlock. Those are the ones, these have the pins. Those are the ones you're going to need. Now also in the box, you're going to find that you get your controller. And you need this. Let me open this up. So your controller, you get an adhesive pad that you can stick to the back of this and to your computer. Your controller can support up to 16 fans, because each one of these ports can support up to 4 fans, and you have 4 of those, so 4 times 4 is 16. There's some sort of, is that a sync button? I don't know what those are. It's got to be a release. Oh yeah, it's a release. So you have a couple of buttons here, or not buttons, but they're kind of like release. Oh, there we go. Where's my light? So you got sync 1, sync 2. Has something to do with RGB lighting that you can have on this. So other than that, you have 2 SATA power connectors that you need to hook up to your computer. And this is all you need. Now, by the way, that software is called L-Connect 3. So that is the software. Also in the box, it comes with your power connectors for controlling it through the motherboard. So you have to hook this up to your motherboard. All right, guys, so this is not just about replacing my fans, because this thing hasn't really been apart. It's been blown out a few times, but I have to do a thorough cleaning. So this whole PC is actually probably going to come apart, and I have to clean it. So I'm not going to be videoing any of that. It's too long of a process. So you can see up front here how dusty it is. Actually, I've cleaned this pretty regularly, but this sits on the ground, and you can kind of just see. You can see all the dust that's on it. So I have a lot of work to do on this, and I'm going to replace the fans probably off camera, but I just wanted to kind of let you take a look at the fans and how unique they are. I'll hold them up side by side before I put them in, and so you can get an idea of what the difference in the look is. I'll also take a video. You can actually even check out this build. I'll put that right up here in the corner, and you can check that build out if you want when I swapped all the parts over to this case and used these fans currently in here. So, but anyway, with that said, I'm going to get busy on this because it's going to take me hours, literally hours, to disassemble everything, clean everything up. Probably 3-4 hours anyway, because it's just like building a new PC, but I've got to take parts out and I've actually got to clean them. So it's not just installing new parts. At least I don't have to do the software though. So let me get going. I'll see you in just a second. So I just wanted to show you just how real I am about this. Every single piece is taken off of this computer. Motherboard's laying right here. All the parts are scattered. I have to go through and clean them all and kind of just reassemble piece by piece. Now, I did make a mistake. And this case, this is the 5000D. And this case does not accept 140 millimeter fans in the rear. So I've got a couple of options here. I can either just order another single 120 millimeter fan and place this in, although I'm going to have to, route the cabling over everything that I've already done. I could do without the fan, which I really don't want to do. So there's another option to possibly put the, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe put the radiator up in the front and then put the 140 millimeters up top for exhausting. And that way I really don't need one coming out the back. So I don't know yet, but I'll let you know what I decide shortly. All right, well, I did it again. I messed up. You know what? This video's already got one mess up, so I might as well keep going with it. For some reason, I thought the front could hold or support 3 140 millimeter fans. It cannot. Both the front and the top can only support 2 140 millimeter fans, which means I can't chain daisy them in 3. We can only chain daisy in 2, in the front or in the top. But because of aesthetics, I think what I'm going to do is mount the radiator in the front with 3 120 millimeter fans. That way I can see it, because it's down on the floor underneath where my feet go. So I'm going to put the radiator in the front, and then I'm going to put 2. So that radiator is going to be, it's either going to draw in cold air from the outside, which I'm probably going to do, but it might be a pull method. We'll see. I haven't decided on that yet. And then put 2 exhaust fans going out the top, since heat rises. Otherwise, I got to draw air in from the top and then push it through the radiator, which means the case will be a little bit warmer. So I'll be pushing a little bit warmer air out through the radiator than what it would be putting in. So either way is okay for what I'm doing. It's not going to change the temperatures, by anything dramatic. So it is what it is. All right, so here we go. What do you think? I think it looks pretty sharp. These are Lian Li. The fans are Lian Li. I got the controller for this down here. We could sync the fans on this together, which I might try. These are hooked up to the motherboard, so if I sync that, it might work. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good overall. Now it's time just to get the Lian Li, the Connect L3 software up and running. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this L Connect 3 software. Now, it's always a good idea when you install software to go ahead and reboot your computer. But beyond that, this will display some of your system info. You can go ahead and check that out if you want. I don't know why it tells you what the storage is. I think that's ridiculous. I would rather have something else in there. I don't know why it does that. You have fan profiles. I set, so port 1 on my controller is set for 3 120 millimeter fans. So I have 120 millimeter as my drop down 2 options. And the second port has 2 140 millimeter fans. So I have the 140 millimeter picked. The rest of them, it doesn't matter. It doesn't appear that you can even disable, them from what I can see here. So I've done a right click and all that, it just doesn't do anything. So anyway, we go to quick sync lighting. This is if you have motherboard enabled sync lighting, you can go ahead and use it this way if you wanted to. I was trying to use this section. Down here where it says lighting effects, you can go static color, and down, or static color, you can choose whatever you want in here. They have a few different options. Right down here it says set quantity of fans. So if you click on this, you can see my port 1 is set for 3 120 millimeter and port 2 is set for 2 140 millimeter. So in the fan pump settings, that's where you would have set the size of the fan. But here you're setting the quantity of how many, because like I said, you could have, well, it looks like, I thought you could have 4 in each channel, but it only looks like you can have 3. So I'd have to check up on that one. But anyway, that's what you do. You come down here, select apply. You come up here to updates if you want to check if there's any updates for a newer version. But if we come back here, you can see we have port 1, port 2, 3, and 4. And if we highlight port 1, to change the color, we got it set to green right now. And I will pan over here so you can see it's all set to green. Now, if we want to change the color to, let's just say, a red, you would click this, and Of course, you can adjust the colors however dark you want them or bright. And then you would also come here and click this. And if you want them all to be the same color, you click this to sync them all. Not just all of them on this port, which is up to 4 fans. So that's weird how it shows on the quantity. So, and then you would click apply. And if we come back down here, you can see that our one side is all red and this side's still green. Of course, this is blue because has to do with Corsair or the motherboard. That's why it's going to get a little confusing and a little difficult if you do this type of a setup, unless you find a way to sync them all. And if you wanted them all red, you would click apply to all if you wanted port 1, port 2, and so on, if you wanted them all. Otherwise, you can click on, let's just try like a purple, and we'll do this. We'll bring that color down here and we'll select so it's all of them. And now it's like a purple, but I like it a little darker. So we'll make it that much darker. Let's see here. And apply. It made it a little darker, but I'm not happy with that still. So let's go down to here. Make it even darker yet. And apply. Looks a little bit better, but we can always adjust. So if I come back over here, you can kind of see it's like a whitish purple. It's not very dark. Let me, just while you're looking at it, let me try and adjust it so it's more of a purple. Let's try that. Well, that just kind of made it lighter, didn't it? So anyway, you can play around with it. If I make it real dark, there you go. That's probably a little bit better. But we can also adjust the brightness of it. So if I adjust the brightness down to 50%, let's see. There we go. It only applies to this and it leaves this alone. Now, if I select apply to all, you see how it changed that one up top there too. And then if we want to select port 2 and we want to change that to like a yellowish color, we can certainly do that. See, now it's like a yellow color. The brightness will go down in 25% increments. So this would be 25% up here. But if you want them all 100%, you can click apply to all. And also change the color because I didn't specify which one. So that's like a yellow. The yellow doesn't look too bad, actually. All right, so it's been about another week and a half here, and I needed to put this cut in here to where I could just show you and let you know that I did go ahead and get a fan, a 120 millimeter for the back of the case. And I'm down here on the ground. All my cabling is underneath my desk, and here's my PC. So I'm gonna put it in the back, and I was trying to determine whether or not I want to put it for an exhaust or an intake. I think I'm still going to do an exhaust. We have two 140 millimeter intake fans coming from the top, bringing air in. And then we have 3 120 millimeter fans exhausting through the radiator. So it's just aesthetics, more aesthetics. I don't need a lot of cooling power, and it's been running perfectly fine. So I think I'm gonna make this an exhaust. So we're basically gonna start feeding it. So it goes this way and this way. You know, it's kind of just a personal choice. May not be the best choice of the setup, but that's the way I am going to do it. And let's get started on putting this thing in. So again, you'll see you're gonna need one of these guys, because I have my 140 millimeter up here, and this part, this flat part with the Lian Li fans, is going to go on like here. And then this other end if it'll focus on it. This end is going to go to the new fan being on that side. So we need to orient this so it's going to look the best. So I'm going to have to stop filming and figure this out, which way I want this, and then I'll kind of let you know. All right, well, unfortunately, I looked at all the cables that they give us in the kits, and there's no cable that will reach all the way from one side of my case up to the other, nor will the single cable that could go to the controller from a fan, will that reach from that fan all the way to my controller over here on the back side of the case. So unfortunately, for right now, there's two options I have. I can either leave it hooked up to the 140 millimeter fans, or I can actually opt to hook it directly to the motherboard and have the motherboard control the fan instead of the controller. But then I would have to hook up the RGB to the board and then control that separately too. I mean, yeah, you can sync them all. It just gets annoying, and I don't want another thing. So I don't think I'm going to care about too much of the exhaust, whether that chains with the 140 millimeter or not. So I'm going to give that a go. I'm hoping that's a good choice. In other words, you know, it's not going to, I don't care about undervolting it so much, but overvolting it for some reason, it shouldn't cause too much of a big problem. I don't think. I can't foresee anything happening to this. So we're going to go ahead and power this thing up. Let's take a look at this rear. Right now, just the motherboard is illuminated pretty much. So we're going to go ahead and power that up. Yep. So everything's RGB right now, except for the streamer. But that's just because the software has not been enabled yet. As soon as the software enables, I should get all of these, including the motherboard, RAM, and the GPU support that I have down here. If you watch my last video, or one of my last videos anyway, I did go ahead and put this in here. So if we just give this a moment, I'll come right back in just a few seconds and you should see this lit up. You know what? I don't have it set to start automatically, so it's just going to stick with rainbow mode. Let me open up the L-Connect software and it should change. I'm going to open it up. And hopefully, there we go. All right, it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. So the rear went off, and we have everything else green. It's like a funky green. But again, I do have to change that RAM stick in there. That's just a simple open up the IQ software, change the RAM stick quick, and then change it back to that color. It's just a little glitch. Plus, we're working with 3 different software programs now, so I'm happy with the results from this. I am going to do a video on how to change the GPU RGB in there. So you see that EVGA. That I'm going to do a video on separately, just teach you how to do that. So anyway, let me get this connected here. All right, so I just wanted to show you right here in the L-Connect software, my port 2, I only had 2 fans, the two 140 millimeter. I went ahead and switched it to 3 fans. You just click on it, simple click. You can click apply down here, and now presto, we have everything is that green color now. We just have to take care of our RAM. So if we close this and I open up the IQ software, and we go over to our, we didn't want cooling, lighting effects. We go to our light here. I'm trying to work opposite hands here. And we go to like a purple, and that changed it to like a purple. And now we go back to our green, and now it is fixed. So anyway, yeah, that's it. Computer's working great. Fans are working great. You can set the fan curves, obviously, and get that pretty good. But I don't do a lot of gaming, so it's just mainly video editing, but that looks pretty nice under there, I'd say. Well, I definitely learned a lot from this. So now we have 3 pieces of software, the L-Connect 3, we have the IQ4 software, and we also have the Army Create. So don't expect if you go ahead and do something like this and you're working with 3 different pieces of software that everything's going to work kosher and it's going to go smooth. Yeah, you might have to uninstall something, reinstall something. You might have to reboot the computer once or twice to get things working properly. But some of these videos, it makes it look like it goes a little quicker than what it does. But this took a day and a half to do because I worked on it for like 5 hours the first night, and then I had to stop, I had to sleep, and then now I'm finishing up the video. Had to, figure out some issues that were going on with that graphics card issue. Don't expect things to just go super smooth when you're doing this kind of stuff. But anyway, feel free to leave a comment down below if you wish, or any questions you might have. Also, go ahead, give this thing a thumbs up to support the channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell icon next to the subscription button to get notified of any future videos that I do post. Also, if you see that there's any items on here, any of my tools that I use, or this like Lazy Susan here where you can work on a PC nice and easily. You can just whip it around. It's pretty nice. I do have affiliate links down below, and if you click on any of those, I will get a small percentage of whatever it costs you. And it's at no extra cost to you, no extra cost to you. I only know what you bought and how much it was. I do not know who you are or where you're from at all. So if you do that, feel free to do that if you wish. But yeah, let's get done with this. Until next time, guys, take care.